Alt Funds Global presents How to Use SBLCs for Real Estate Transactions.
You're a real estate investor. Your biggest frustration is the ability to consistently and reliably access capital to do big mega deals. You've heard about this term called SBLCs, standardized credit, from a whole bunch of joker brokers. In this video, I'm going to debunk the bullshit out there. I'm going to give you actual real case studies. As the author of the book, Stand by Under Credit, Turning Paper into Profit, I've got a step-by-step methodology. You've got to watch this video.
All of the information presented is for entertainment and information purposes only. Nothing discussed constitutes legal or accounting advice, an offer or solicitation of financial services, or financial advice of any kind. Our goal is to showcase alternative vehicles to raise capital. At no point will we be soliciting any investment programs.
Hey, Taimour, Zaman from Alt Funds Global. My organization helps accredited investors leverage their assets, their standardized credit, cash, and so on, to access capital. The banks are primarily offering their VIP clients. We can do this because of volume of transactions we do with banks, because of our relationships, and our experience and expertise in this area. The truth, we're doing this because I hate all the big bank CEOs who build products and services that's good for their pocketbook, their bonuses, quarterly bonuses, the people they're trying to please, and they forget about the small business owner. Really at the heart of it, that's what I do. Disrupt banking, not using blockchain or AI or whatever these things are. Friends, before I jumped into this role, before I jumped into this chair, I used to be this thing called a real estate investor, or real estate, like somebody who's investing in real estate. I've invested in real estate in South America, in places like Belize, places in the United States, places in Canada, like that. So I have a little bit of experience in investing in real estate internationally. My biggest frustration personally was the ability to consistently and reliably access large amounts of funds. The truth is that using traditional models to access capital works. Let me repeat myself. Using traditional models to access large amounts of capital works. The problem is that it's not replicable and it's not scalable. The problem that I face is that this model of traditional banking, traditional private equity is not replicable and does not scale. That's when I discovered this thing called SBLC, standards of credit. At the heart of it, the standard of credit is a guarantee by a bank to make a payment if you don't make a payment. At the heart of what is a SBLC, a standard of credit, it's a guarantee that a bank makes a payment in case you default on the payment. Let me tell you, as somebody who is in business, I love standardized credit compared to a promise from you to make a payment. I love standardized credit from a reputable bank compared to you make a promise to me that you're going to make a payment. When I get standard of credit from a bank, I know I can cash that in. I know I can leverage it to go get a loan. I know I can get standard of credit, monetize it, and sell it. This can get cash right away. There are things that standard of credit can do that other banking instruments simply cannot do. They just wouldn't be able to do it. If you're a real estate investor and you commit to doing big mega project, I highly invite you to look up companies like BlackRock, to look up companies like Brookfield, and learn for yourself out of your own research how they've used standardized credit with big banks like JP Morgan, Citibank, Wells Fargo, HSBC, Barclays, to do massive real estate transactions using standardized credit by only putting out 3% down, 5% and then having the bank issue a standard of credit for them to do big mega project real estate transactions. These numbers are hard to hide. Contacting banks or looking at these case studies is something that's readily available, and I invite you to do some legwork if this is the area you're interested in. I authored a book called Standardized Credit, Turning Paper into Profit. If you go to our website, allfundsglobal.com, and look at our online store, you'll be able to participate or buy a workshop or pre-recorded workshop where I facilitate a 2-day roundtable with bank executives and clients, my own clients, where I bring in my banker that says, yeah, we issue standards credit for Taimour or things like that. Here's how we do it. Then I bring a monetizer. Says, yes, we work with Taimour, we receive his instruments, this is how we do it, all of that. So you get to see actual people who do this shit every single day. So I'm a big believer of standardized credit. It made me switch religions. I went from real estate investing to SBLC stuff all day long, and let me tell you, it has character, it has stress, and you gotta know what you're doing. Standardized credit as a banking instrument really allows me, or people that understand how to leverage it, to build a funding vehicle that's replicable and scalable. That's really what I can tell you. My clients oftentimes struggle with accessing standardized credit, leveraging and flexing capital, primarily for 3 reasons that I can see. One is simply lack of knowledge. One is simply a lack of knowledge. A lot of my clients understand banks. They understand banks have something called retail division. Where they fail is to see that banks also have a wholesale division, private banking, SBLCs, or commercial banking division, where they also issue SBLCs. Insurance, like a major financial institution has multiple different divisions. And most of my clients understand retail banking. They think the world runs on retail banking. It's like the world has other divisions, or banks have other divisions, including SBLCs. So lack of knowledge is one reason why I find that a lot of marketplace fails at leveraging this. A second one is that a lot of my marketplace, or credit investors, find about SBLCs through primarily what I call joker brokers or fraudsters. And somewhere in their journey to go, this guy is a fraudster, could be a fraud. I don't think so. And that's when they find reputable organizations like mine. And that's when we jump in to help a client. So joker brokers, lack of knowledge. Third and most important one, the other reason why I find that people fail at leveraging standardized credit is they simply don't have the right banking relationships with the right bank. They simply fail at having the right banking relationships with the right bank. When having a banking relationship, I mean a bank that offers trade finance products and services. Those types of banks will have structured financing solutions to do big mega projects or international transactions that perhaps a credit union as a comparison wouldn't be able to do. I remember back in the days when I was in real estate, my constant challenge was, how do I consistently and reliably access capital? If I have 300 investors, that's nice, but I need 5,000 investors by the amount of money that they were depositing for me to go and do projects. Consistent and reliable. So that was challenge 1. Challenge 2 was, even when I had investors and I had projects going on, things would happen for human beings. And I just don't know how else to say that. Things would happen for human beings. And the investor will come and say, look, I know we deposited $300,000 or $500,000. Some life circumstance has shown up for me. I need that money back. Can you give me the money some other way or like that? Perfect. And so I found that to be a surprise in the area of real estate investing and name investors. I'm going to give you some case studies and some examples on how to replace the investor's capital with a standard credit. I want to give you some examples and case studies in how to replace the investor with a standard credit. Imagine there's a house for sale in Iowa. I'm just making this up. And the value of the house is $500,000. But it's a fixer-upper, it's broken down, and the seller's willing to sell you the property for $150,000. So price is $500,000, but because it's a fixer-upper, the seller is going to sell it to you for $150,000. So how do you use a standard of credit to do that instead of going to investors? One way is if you have $150,000, instead of giving the seller the cash, you give him a standard of credit with a maturity date that's going to be maturing. And then once you've secured the contract, you now have a period of time to upgrade the land, flip it, maybe do zoning, flip it for profit. It gives you breathing time, air time to leverage the standard of credit to acquire the asset you need for you to flip it. But, that's my example. Another example is if the seller wants $150,000 as an example, you could go to your bank. At no point in this conversation am I asking you to call Taimour, Zaman, or my company, All Thoughts Global. At no point, notice, at no point in this conversation am I inviting you to call me or my firm to work with us. I'm saying call 1-800, your bank, or your bank. So one of the other things you could do with trade finance banks is you can say, hey, look, I need $150,000 time of credit. Here's the collateral I'm going to give you and pay the banking fees. And let's just assume the banking fees is $37,500. I'm just making this up. You get a time of credit for $150,000. You go to a secondary bank. You use the leverage the time of credit for $37,500, and you get a loan for $150,000 that you give to a seller. So in this example that I'm sharing with you, I'm using $37,500 to issue a stamp of credit where I get a loan for $150,000, which I give to the seller. These are just two models. I don't mean to promote my book, stamp of credit, turning paper into profit, but if you read that, you'll come up with 200 other case studies and examples of how other companies are doing this and using this. BlackRock would be one of my examples. Brookfield would be one of my examples. And if you go to our shop on my site, Alpha Slovan, look at my course outline and participate in my course, you'll see that I give you my actual case studies and examples on how to use stamp of credit to turn it from paper into profit to do project financing. A lot of municipalities in North America have seen developers who have bad credit. Developer just has bad credit, or they have low in cash, where they do something called public-private partnership, where the city, the municipality, the government issues a sum of credit to a bank in partnership with a developer. So now the developer has liquidity or has the collateral to do project financing or brings down their interest rates down so that the developer can build whatever they were supposed to build. This is very, very common, and this was shocking when I got into this industry 10 years ago. I've seen this at the federal. I got invited by a government in South America a couple of years ago to do consulting with the government and the Minister of Finance. Done consulting with governments in Africa. Governments are not shy. They're not shy to send much credit. I have seen multiple different projects where a developer didn't have the capital and have the credit, whatever the deal was with the developer, but they partnered with the government to issue a stamp of credit that allowed them to have the collateral they needed to do project financing. But if I was going back to my previous life, for real estate investing, instead of asking people for investors to give me cash, hey, Mr. Investor, I have this real estate transaction. You're my mom, you're my neighbor, whoever you are, do you want to invest with me in this project? What I would now say, now knowing what I know now, I would say, can you give me a stamp of credit? Can you give me a stamp of credit? Why? First of all, if you have $500,000, that's any $500,000 for Project A. If I ask you to give me a stamp of credit, ethically, morally, spiritually, logically, financially, that $150,000 or $500,000, what amount of capital you want to give me, stays in your bank. The $500,000 that you're giving me, you're not giving me cash, you're giving me a stamp of credit. So that capital is actually staying in your bank. If human beings have human issues that surprisingly will show up, guess what? You are not calling me to cash in. You're not calling me. Why? You have to call your bank and figure out deal with your bank because you physically never gave me $500,000. You didn't even give me $1. You give me a standby, but not $1. If I could go back in my real estate days, I will no longer, ever, ever, ever ask people for cash. I would say, please call your bank, whoever you bank with. Please give me a standby credit for the amount of capital you want to give me. I'll leverage that. So if you give me a $500 standby credit, I'll easily go to any of my banks. I'll get a $2 million loan. I'll leverage it to get a $2 million loan at Prime, maybe Prime plus 2, whatever. And that way, I don't have to deal with your emotions as an investor if something comes up. I got $2 million, you didn't give me $1. Like, there are things I would do if I was going back to my real estate investor days to access capital. The loss of benefits with seller of credit primarily is risk mitigation. So if the seller wants me to give him cash, if I can give them a seller of credit, there's a guarantee that the bank is going to make a payment if I default. The sellers love that. If I could go back to investors, I would say, hey, Mr. Investor, don't give me cash, give me a seller of credit. It helps that. If you're in the area of banking and you want to get into this area, one of the things you will notice for yourself, is a standby letter of credit. Standby letter of credit automatically builds your credit. When you use standby letter of credit, issuing bank, monetizing bank, you're automatically building your own credit. When I use cash from some investor to give it to Joe Blow to buy land or whatever else, nothing's happening to my credit. I promise you. There's a lot of benefits in leveraging someone's credit. But also what it gives me is flexibility. It allows me to get a loan on it. It gives me to monetize it. There's 5,000 different things you can do with someone's credit that perhaps with other structures, it would be hard to do. Now, if you're interested in working with your bank, not all funds go on. Typically, you give them your application. What is it you want the summer of credit for? You have the money for the summer of credit. Typically, it takes 7 to 10 days for your bank to issue summer of credit. If you go into a different bank to monetize it, or if you found a reliable joker broker on the internet that said they're going to monetize it, assuming they have a credit line, it would roughly take them another 7 to 10 days. But what I like about the 7 to 10 days on the issuing side and 7 to 10 days on monetizing side, it's a model that's replicable. It's a model that's replicable and scalable. One question that often been asked is, Taimour, I love this area. This thing works. How do I avoid fraud? Fraud, unfortunately, is a big part of this industry. Unfortunately, it faces a lot of fraud. If I was going to go to a cutting house, these are companies that issue us a credit, I would ask for something called bank comfort letter. That'd be one way to make sure that the issuing guy is real and can issue cash. If I was to go to a receiving bank or what's called a monetizer and ask them to give me cash, I would ask for a bank comfort letter up front. Now, if you're respectfully speaking, if you're the no-name guy out of Africa and you have $0, my invitation is don't embarrass yourself to ask an issuer or monetizer to give you a bank comfort letter, because you're not a billionaire. You're not a billionaire. I don't know how else to say that. My market is accredited investors. Every video, every book that I write, everything I do is for accredited investors. Accredited investors, somebody's net worth, minimum net worth is $2.1 million. Accredited investor is somebody who walks to my table with at least $1 million ready to go. That's the market. So if you're not that market, this video would probably be a tough one for you to digest. But if you're a accredited investor and you want to do some investor credit, I would highly recommend going to a bank and asking for a bank comfort letter from the issuing house that issues the summer credit or monetizers, and ask for a bank comfort letter. If you can't get a bank comfort letter, I use an invention called the aeroplane. I fly to whoever. I've done videos in Spain. I've done videos in different parts of the world where I fly down to the issuer monetizer. I say, let's go in. Let's you and I go to your bank. And we'll do whatever it is. I want to verify this to make sure that this is real. One question I'm always asked is, Taimour, how can All Funds Global help you out? If you're interested in All Funds Global help you out, you have to go to our website, allfundsglobal.com. You have something called advisory services. That's when you can hire me, rent me, if I can use that, to our members of my team for a monthly retainer. It's a big amount of money you got to pay. For us to work with you as your interim chief banking officer, if I can say that way, but help you structure this. We bring our relationships, some of that. So that's version 1. Version 2, if you want to start amount of credit for, you have to tell me and convince me why you're not calling your bank. You have to be able to convince me why you're not calling your bank to issue a amount of credit. If you have the right story to tell me and you want my help or my company's help to issue a amount of credit, happy to do so. Just $200,000, $500,000, I would not touch it. I would invite you to call your own bank or go to somebody else who will do this small amounts. I like to do 20 million, 40 million, 50 million, because $200,000 stammer credit just unfortunately doesn't pay my bills. It's not business that I'm interested in. If you want to monetize the stammer of credit, Allfunds Global, love to help you out. I want to see a copy of the SBLC being issued. I want to know who the bank was who's issued it, the things that I do to make sure the stammer of credit is real. And so in terms of how we can help clients out as advisory services, or help you issue it, or help you monetize it, or if you want, we can do all of it. Look, I did real estate investing. I've been doing real estate investing for a long time. I understand that market really well, internationally, locally, like that. I can tell you from my experience, leveraging stammer's credit allows me to have a model that grows, replicates, and scales. And I promise you, traditional models does not allow me to do that. If you're willing to invest in some learning and development for yourself and use this, please contact your own bank. Ask your bank, is this guy called Taimour Zaman completely nuts? Or is this something I can replicate and scale? And trust your banker when they tell you how you can do this using stammer's credit. I hope you find this helpful. My name is Taimour Zaman. If my organization can be helpful to you, please book a consultation call on our website at allfundsglobal.com. Thank you.
My impression of AFG so far is they are here for you as a partner and as family, and they will guide you in the right direction to achieve your goals. Whatever those goals are, whether it's in development, real estate development, or in monetization, whatever it may be, they're here for you, and they will guide you on the best path for you to achieve what you're wanting to achieve.
Hi friends, I now want to take a minute and answer some of your frequently asked questions. One of the common questions I get a lot is, Taimour, we've learned a lot from you through your YouTube channel. How do we learn more? Can we fly down and meet your team? And the answer to all of that is yes, yes, and yes. If you want to learn more, my first invitation is to become a member of Allfunds Global. You simply go to our website, allfundsglobal.com. You sign up to become a member for free. You get access to webinars, offshore events that we do, and content that we never, ever, ever, ever publish on YouTube. I promise you that it's worth becoming a member for sure. The second way that you can learn a lot is I'm a published author. Structured Financing Demystified, Hypergrowth, just multiple books on Amazon that you can get access to. I highly recommend going and checking out some of these books, getting engaged into some of the stuff, that strategies and tactics that we're using for ourselves, for our families, for our friends. You definitely want to check these things out for sure. Another question, I guess, Taimour, why are you so passionate about getting a bank license? Why is that so important? Well, the truth is, our mission within Allfunds Global is to help businesses become self-funded for life. Imagine you run a coffee shop and I run a coffee shop. Imagine we buy the coffee beans from the same grower and my coffee shop is right across yours, like really right across yours. Our competition is probably nil. But if you have a bank license and I don't have a bank license, and let's say I made $500,000 and you made $500,000 in income, but if you have a bank license, you are depositing a bank license with the central bank of the country where you own your own private bank license. Let me repeat this again. You are depositing your money with the central bank of the country you have your bank license on. So $500,000 deposited with the central bank should give you a line of credit of 10 times multiples. So that means you get a line of credit of $5 million. Now it's not free money, it's a line of credit of $5 million. Now, if you draw that entire money out and you go to whichever country you're currently resonating in, the country you're doing business with, and you know in real estate, you want to buy a house, you put 20% down and you get a loan for 80%, same thing. You put $5 million down with a business plan to your local bank, whoever your bank with, and say, hey, I want to grow my business, my technology business, real estate business, pharmaceutical business, whatever business it is. I'm a venture capitalist. I'm putting $5 million down. Your bank gives you a loan at four times more, so now you get a $20 million loan. Now it's not free money, it's $20 million loan What can you afford to do with $20 million that I cannot afford to do with $500,000? Could you invest in artificial intelligence? Could you invest in hiring better people? Could you invest in advertising? Hell, with that amount of money, could you even buy auxiliary businesses or invest in auxiliary businesses? I say you can, and that's why we within All Funds Global are so passionate in helping clients become self-funded for life, and getting a private bank license is one of the vehicles that I am personally very passionate about helping clients on. Another question, I guess, Taimour, you charge a consultation fee. All Funds Global, the team charges a consultation fee. Why do you charge a consultation fee when you guys can make so much money on the back end? It somehow slows me down from taking a credit card and paying you money for it. Well, here's the truth. We offer our content, millions and millions of dollars worth of content completely for free on YouTube. We don't advertise as of the date of doing this video. We don't advertise on YouTube, Google, or we don't do any kind of advertising at all. And what we find is the volume of traffic that goes into YouTube attracts people that are tire kickers, people that are fraudsters, people that have mental health issues. When we charge a small consultation fee, this deters the hacker, the fraudster, the person who's shopping around, the tire kicker. It eliminates all that and allows me and my team to be on calls or meetings with customers we actually want to do business with. What a concept. Now comes, this is better. At the time of doing a transaction with a client, that fee they pay for a consultation call, we refund it. At the conclusion of us doing a transaction with a client, we refund 100% of all the monies that they paid on consultation fees. This allows us to work with people that are committed to working with us, are serious about working with us, are not tire kickers, are not people that are like, they don't know what banking 101 is, and they're there to waste our time and energy. Just eliminates that. And me and my team are very proud of doing that. Next question, I guess, Taimour, the alternative funding industry overall has a lot of fraudsters in it, has a lot of deep fake in it. What are you doing to protect us, protect yourself? So here's the answer to that. Any industry that has a lot of money by default attracts a lot of fraud. Let me say this again. Any industry that attracts a lot of money by default attracts a lot of fraud. I don't know who you bank with. If you bank with one of the top 20 banks in the world, pick a bank you bank with, or you use payment processing companies like PayPal, these companies see a lot of fraud every day, from fraudsters mimicking their website to mimicking their email addresses, and in cases like mine, once a year or twice a year, some idiot, excuse my language, decides to copy my picture on social media, tries to create a fake profile of me, and goes on social media selling scammy transactions. Now, we have the technology and the resources to catch that, usually within 72 hours of that happening, and then cause legal action against that fraudster. We have the financial resources, thank God, to do that today, but that's just the nature of this industry. So what we do to protect ourselves is we never solicit on social media anything, nor do we solicit in general. We offer a lot of educational materials, but we don't solicit. You'll never see me or any of my associates on any social media trying to sell anything, ever. Second, all transactions that we do, money always has to go through a reputable law firm. All transactions we do, money always has to go to a reputable law firm. We never ask the client to send us money or anything like that. Now, I do want to take a minute and talk a little bit about my competitors. In the United States, in the US alone, US has 3% of the world's population, and they have over 60% of the world's lawyers. In the United States, that's a fact, have 3% of the world's population and over 60% of the world's lawyers. I have a lot of legitimate competitors in the United States and around the world that unfortunately have been sued for wrongful things that other people have done. There's a lot of negative stuff on social media or websites about some of my legitimate competitors. And I want to tell you that a lot of my competitors are legitimate. They're hardworking people. I know them. They deliver real results. And unfortunately, they have negative comments or fraud or even losses against them. The reason within All Funds Global doesn't have a lawsuit against it, or me, Taimour Zaman, don't have a lawsuit against me, or people on social media saying that we're fraudsters or something like that, is simply because of my lack of vision. every company you deal with, every major company you deal with, whether it's the cars you drive, Ford, Lexus, I don't know, GM, or Facebook, Google, YouTube, whatever you use, or medicine you have, like Taimour, all of these companies have lawsuits against them. A lot of the companies you work with have litigations against them as just part of the growth. At some point, the business needs to grow exponentially, and that's when you have to see lawsuits as just the nature of the business growing. The fact that we don't have it is because of my lack of vision as the CEO and like trying to bark a tree like that. Now, I see that changing as we buy businesses that have other CEOs, as we grow, we have over 800 registered brokers with us. As that number grows, it's not normal for our business to continue growing without some idiot calling us fraudster, some idiot trying to sue us, or something like that. If you want to take advantage of the alternative funding industry, I'm going to tell you this is the industry I love. I'm going to tell you this is the industry that I've made a lot of money with. I'm going to tell you this is the industry I've helped a lot of clients make a lot of money with, friends and family make a lot of money with. And if this is an industry you want to get involved in, I recommend meeting the people you want to do business with, like physically flying out to meeting them. If you can afford to hire an investigator, we use a lot of former FBI, former CIA people. These are people you can hire to do background checks. It's not only do these people have lawsuits or not, or other losers calling them fraudsters or not. I'm telling you, a lot of my competitors are really good people, and they're not fraudsters. So do your own due diligence, listen to your intuition. We're really interested in working with some really good people that are vision-driven entrepreneurs that really want to serve the world, and I think we have some things that are really amazing to offer. Another question I get is, Taimour, we love all the services of Funds Global. What are the top 3 services you offer that we should really seriously think about, call you or your organization and get you guys involved? But my favorite service, the one that makes a lot of sense, is the trusted advisory service. This is when we become your chief banking officer. We work with your CFO, your legal team, the CEO, the COO. We look at where your organization is, where you want it to be. We look at banking programs that make sense for your type of business, that are proven and would work to generate access to alternative revenue sources for your business that makes sense. From that, we then create offshore tax structures, offshore bank accounts, offshore bank licenses for your organization, so the revenue gets generated has a channel to go to that is well protected. We have a lot of domain expertise that I do not share ever on YouTube. It's not like a lawyer who's like, go create a trust account and cooks out it. We don't do. We do some very sophisticated stuff that I'm very proud of. That's our intellectual property. And so the trusted advisory services, where we become a trusted advisor, is one of the things that I would recommend everybody to look at. It's a monthly retainer, you pay for it, but let me tell you, for every penny you put in, that you get tens of dollars out of it. And I think you're not going to get this amount of expertise dedicated to your business. So that's something I would recommend you to think about and sign up for. Second one is, if you're looking for access to capital, we have a lot of unique programs like Rent a Rich Uncle that we can support your organization as long as your organization is a successful business and not a startup, not somebody who's going bankrupt. It's a successful business that has real cash, real assets, and is generating something real, that's real growth. I think we have some avenues for accessing capital that others simply cannot offer. And the final one that I love is we have a lot of asset management structures that are very unique to our intellectual property that I love to share with you. If you have assets, you want to grow, you want to get bank license, you want to set up a trust, you want to work with multiple central banks, do some really cool stuff. I think I'm the only weirdest person that has real expertise and experience in doing this stuff. And so my name is Taimour Zaman from Funds Global. Thank you for following us up on YouTube. If you're doing that, thank you for trusting me. Thank you for trusting my team. And on behalf of my team, I just really want to say thank you. And we look forward to the opportunity of serving you.